Make peace with being misunderstood. It's a difficult concept to think about making peace with something that is so difficult. It's hard to feel misunderstood. It's a lack of justice, so to speak, because being misunderstood can be a total accident, can be completely just, it happens sometimes. And sometimes being misunderstood is when people see the worst in you, that you're seen for the exact opposite from what you were actually trying to do. It's like someone's waiting to look at you in a negative light. Being misunderstood is a part of life. There's no doubt about that. There's no question of that. It just happens. You're different people. One person does things one way, one does another way. And if they don't align, sometimes people can see it as, well, I wouldn't do that, so therefore they must be doing it for this reason, or they must be coming from this angle. But it's definitely not as simple as that. I'm sure you know, being alive. It's not as simple as that. Believing the worst in people is a problem. Being misunderstood definitely happens and is really common. There's no way of getting around it. There's no way of escaping it. But it hurts people. And yes, misunderstandings definitely happen, and misunderstandings are a part of life. But I'm talking more about the misunderstandings of people misunderstanding your true intent, your true intention, believing the worst in you, even though you're trying to do something completely different. They're not willing to see that. They're willing to see what they either expect of you or they expect of other people, or maybe of they expect of themselves. People project a lot. They do. It's just something that can happen. If you're not aware of what things you're carrying with you, it can be easy to misunderstand other people. And it can be a thing where you misjudge other people also. But today I'm just focusing on the fact that if you want to do anything well, if you want to give anything a crack, if you want to be a great parent, if you want to be a great dad or mum, if you want to be a great friend, if you want to be good at anything that you do, it's likely that you are going to be misunderstood for that, because you're going to make decisions. You're going to make decisions that some people will not agree with, because they're not looking either to do the same thing as you or to do it in the same way as you, because you're different people. And maybe you're right, and maybe they're right, but I'm sure you're both right to yourselves. The reason why I bring this up is because it can be really stifling to not give things the proper effort, go, and putting yourself out there as much, especially due to today's harsh criticisms, because anyone can sit behind a desk and be an expert, be an armchair wizard, and just say whatever they want with no repercussions. They can say horrible things. They can come after your family. They can come after, your work. They can come after anything. And they can do that because that's what culture has kind of presented now. People have allowed that for that long and given it a lot of power. They've gone down that road and they've given those people say more weight than it is due. And unfortunately, that really stifles some people. Now, don't get me wrong. There's people who just don't care. They're just going to do what they need to do. They just go out there. I shouldn't clap into the mic. They're just going to go and do what they want to do. And they're bold and they're brave and they're courageous in the fact that they're going to put themselves out there, be it in business or any sort of cause that they want to do, any sort of thing that is above them or is going to get them to the level that they want to get to in whatever field that may be it work or being active in some sort of cause that is really important to them. People are bold. People will put themselves out there and they don't mind that they're being misunderstood. And that's kind of a superpower, to be able to do that, to be able to go, this is above me, I've just got to do it, and put themselves out there. This message won't be as much for those people because they're doing that really well. Now, I can't speak of what place that comes out of. I can't speak whether it's coming from a good place or fear or a recklessness, anything like that. I can't speak to that. However, this is for the people that maybe are letting being misunderstood or not liked or whatever it may be get in the way of doing what they actually want to do. And because it's nice to be liked, it's nice to be seen as a good person. It is nice to be liked. I like to be liked. It's normal to want to be accepted and loved and cared for and all these different things. It's a great part of life. However, we're not going to all agree on things. Parents don't always agree with their kids, with their life choices, with their career choices. But if you really want to go after something that you love, it's too big a thing to compromise on sometimes. But this is about being misunderstood. This is about being bold enough to be misunderstood and still be at peace. When I was growing up, I think I was more concerned about what other people thought of me as a person and things like that. I hated it when someone else didn't see me for who I am. But I can't control how they see me. Some people look at me through a lens and that's it. And if you go through life, people can only see you through a lens. People can only see you through a window. Let's just say you've got a friend. You've had a friend for the last 15 years. You guys are close, you guys talk, it's great. You see them once a week, roughly. Ultimately, you are seeing them through a window of, let's say 4 or 5 hours every week. During that window, the rest of the time of that week goes by. You don't know what they're like. You don't know how they speak to people. You don't know how they speak about people, what they eat, drink, whatever, how they sleep, what they do behind closed doors. You don't know that. You can think you know that. But ultimately, we are seeing people through a window of time. It's just a moment that we're seeing them. But that's your experience of them. Now, if people only see me through a window, they might see me, let's say I'm heading to the gym. I'm running late. I've got to get back in time to take over for my wife with the kids. And people can see me being impatient in the car, or I don't know, if I've got road rage or something, whatever it may be. People see you through a window of time based on the circumstances that you are dealing with. We only see people through a window, through our experience. Making peace with being misunderstood is important for your confidence, is important for you to grow your self-confidence, to know that regardless of what other people think, this is who you are. To regardless of how other people see what you do, that this is who you are, that this is why you're doing something, that this is your intention. I think that nowadays, people see intention totally skewed than what it actually is. If someone intends to hurt me, that's very different than someone who totally accidentally hurt me. But nowadays, it's seen as like, well, you should know better. You should be better. All these sorts of things. But no, you shouldn't just be better. That would be great. That would be awesome. Very unrealistic. You should learn and grow and be a person, because that's what people do. They make mistakes. They ideally work on those mistakes, fix them, etc. But when people are committed to not seeing you, some people are committed to misunderstanding you. And those are the people that you can't help. You can't help showing them a different side. It's similar to if you're expecting a baby. If you and your wife, you and your husband are expecting a baby, first time being pregnant, and you're going down the street, you notice all the pregnant mothers getting around. If you buy a new car and it's, suddenly you notice all the same car, you're like, man, has everyone bought a Kia? I don't understand. This is crazy. So you're just noticing things that are there. You got this unconscious sort of bias that's highlighting these things for you because that's what's going on for you. I've known people that are quick to judge, very quick to judge. And they might see a person and know them for a small amount of time, learn a couple things about them and go, oh, they're this sort of person. That's who they are. But usually it's not as simple as that. And people aren't black and white. People are very gray. People grow. They're capable of growing. Some people don't. That's up to them. But people aren't black and white. Regardless of growth, they're not. There's gray. But sometimes because of how they've seen that person in the past and they went, they are this, they're not that, they like this, they hate that, they're rude, they're short-tempered, whatever their judgments are, those judgments can stay. And you can show them over a period of time, years. If people are committed to misunderstanding you, there's no going back. That's up to them. That is something out of your control. You can show them 100 different things that are contradictory to their judgment of you. But because it's contradictory, they may not see it. Or they may see it, but they won't absorb it. But the one time you align with what their judgment is, they go, oh, that's that person. That's exactly like them. That's vintage such and such. And that's what it is. We can't control that aspect of things. We can't control what other people think, do, believe, or judge. Can't do it. So when it comes to that, we have to be aware that we have to make peace with being misunderstood. Because if we're not at peace, we are getting so caught up in something we cannot control. Because I can't control whether someone misunderstands me. I could nail talking to someone. I could absolutely smash it. And I can say everything on point with heart and feeling and care and love. But if they either misunderstand me on accident, or if they misunderstand me because they want to misunderstand me, I can't control that. But I tried. I can control that I tried. And I feel better knowing that I've given that a go. And as with so many things, it comes down to personal ownership and responsibility. It's the only thing we can really do, is we can control what we do, but we can't control what anyone else does. We can control what we do and say. That's it. There's nothing else. For myself growing up, of course I like to be liked. But I also just wanted people to have an accurate view of me. And I think that's where this comes in. I would just like people to see me accurately. If I mess up, they see me mess up. If they see me do good, I did well. That sort of thing. Versus they see me do well, oh, it's just because. Oh, he said this, he must mean this. And then it's this warped view of you. When someone takes something what you've done and they twist it into something that's the opposite of what you're trying to do, that's what hurts you and that's what affects you. That's the difficult part that we've got to learn to be at peace with, or it eats us up. Because it's easy to feel helpless. Because it's easy to feel hard done by. And all this, the injustice that surrounds that. Because they're not seeing you justly. If they saw you fairly, then they would see you. They would see your heart. But no one can see your heart. Not unless they're committed to seeing your heart. Committed to seeing what you're actually saying, what's behind the words, not just the words themselves. Because we can say something and sometimes our execution isn't awesome. And sometimes it's great, but some people will still hear it in a different way. They will hear the worst possible way it could have been said. But you didn't say it. You were calm. You even said at the start, like, hey, just a heads up, I'm coming from this angle. And they may still see it from the opposite way because they are either committed to it or they've got something else going on. That's just, it's so hard to shift with them internally that they see what you're doing as something else. Putting yourself out there, going for goals, going for the things that you really care about, that will most likely require some people to misunderstand you, misunderstand why you're doing something, misunderstand your intention. And the intention bit hurts, but that's the easiest thing to misunderstand is your intention. They'll see what you're doing and they might come up with the origin story. He's doing it because he cares too much about himself. She's doing it because she's a bit pig-headed. They're just doing it for the money, etc. Misunderstanding the intention is the easiest thing to do, but it is the most hurtful thing to do for you as a person because it's who you are. It's what you're trying to do and the reason why you're trying to do it. This is the part where we become at peace about being misunderstood. In your romantic relationships, you might say something one way or you might do something for a reason. And they might see the worst in it. They might see the worst in what you're doing. They might see the opposite reason why you're doing it. And that's hard. That's difficult. What can you do to explain it? You can explain your true intention. You can explain why you did something. But you can't force them to believe that. However, if you know it's right, you can be at peace with it. I know that in the last probably 5 to 10 years, there's been a sort of movement to misunderstand why people do certain things. And the example where I'm going with this is like when a man holds the door open for someone. I'll hold the door open for people who are close. I don't care if you're a guy or a girl, but normally I will do that and I'll open the door for them. And probably in the last 5 to 10 years, there's been a movement of seeing it as, oh, well, men just think that women are weak and all this other stuff. There's no way that I think you're so weak you can't open a door. That's wild. But if you think that, go ahead. But I'm still going to open the door for you because I was taught that that's a polite thing to do. That's my intention. I wanted to do something nice. When there's a lady on the bus or the train and I'm sitting down and she needs a seat, I will stand up and give that to them because I was taught that that's what a nice person does, what a gentleman does, because that's what I grew up with. That's my intention. If you say thank you, awesome, but I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it because I believe that's right. And this is where it comes down to. The peace that you get from being misunderstood is you knowing your intention. If you know your intention is something that you're good with, that you're happy with, that you're pleased with, that extinguishes any discomfort, any uneasiness, any injustice that you're feeling so strongly that you want to give up. Your intention gets you through that. Because if you know yourself, if you know your character and the content of your character and heart, that's a great thing to get you through. Ultimately, your intention matters. And if you know that truth to you, if you know the truth behind the scenes, focus on that, because that means that you will stick to what is important to you, to stick what is maybe a non-negotiable or something that's bigger than anything else. Being liked is awesome. It's fun, but compromising who you are to get that, we can't do that. We can't put that down. We can't trade that. That's not a fair trade to compromise who we are for being liked. Making peace with being misunderstood comes strictly down to knowing your intention, knowing the truth behind the scenes, and knowing that that's bigger than being understood. What's the alternative? That's the other thing to remember with this. Not only getting peace from knowing your intention and knowing who you are in the content of your character and your integrity, but also knowing what's the alternative. The alternative is never trying. The alternative is never going for what you want to do, know what you want to go for in life, always settling for something less than what you're capable of. That alternative sucks. That's a bad alternative. That's not something that is a good trade either. Trading what you care a lot for, that you want to go for, that may require effort or maybe making people uncomfortable, making 5, 10 people uncomfortable, but helping hundreds or thousands, that's a fine trade. When those people are ready to hear, then maybe they will be. Maybe they'll never get there. I don't know. Can't control that. You can do your part. You can do your part in doing what is on your heart, doing what is your integrity and character and ethics and all the things that are just you as a person, like straight down the line. This is who I am at a heart level. Heart level's a bit, but this is who I am as a person. If you were to do the alternative, if you were to compromise who you are in order for other people to feel okay with you, people that usually in a lot of circumstances aren't really in your corner, but by you getting out of where they know you to be, make them feel uncomfortable. Maybe it's because you're doing something more than what they're daring to do. Who knows? It's like when a lot of people who are successful say that they really learn who their friends are because those who were in their corner cheered for them. They cheered for them whether they were just starting out or whether they're at the top. They weren't going like, oh, they've changed as soon as they did well. Or they weren't talking bad about them because they're trying, because they're putting themselves out there. They weren't putting them down. They're actually in their corner, regardless of the status that they were. They were in their corner. And those are the people that will be with you regardless, whether you go for it or not, whether you're misunderstood or understood. They know you. They're not going to misunderstand you. They know what you're doing it for. But the other people that are going to only be friends with you if you're at their level, if you're only doing something that they think is safe and okay, that they're not going to be in your corner as you give things a go, it would be lovely if they understood you and why you're doing it. It would be really lovely. However, we can't control that. And odds are they won't get there until they're ready to get there. That's against what we can do. We can't force that along. You can communicate, try your hardest, and lead with your intention and lead with your heart and what means something to you, what carries meaning. And that's what you can do. You can't do anything outside of that. Making peace with being misunderstood is crucial to get where you want to go, to do what you want to do, to be who you want to be, and to live a life with more peace. Because if you don't do that, you are not peaceful. You are not feeling at peace within yourself if you are compromising yourself and who you are. So if your intentions are good, if your intentions come with care and love and you're trying to help people, that matters. When people hurt my feelings and it's a complete accident and I know that it's not their intention, we're good. I know that you're not a bad person. I know that you're not trying to be mean or hurtful. I know that. You're a nice person. You're still the same person you were before you hurt my feelings. That's fine. I know you're not a bad dude. But if I know that you've actively gone out of the way to be cruel or nasty or speak behind my back or any of these sorts of things, then that is intentional. You are trying to hurt that person or you're trying to diminish that person in someone else's eyes. There's cruelty to that. There's bad intent to that. You're trying to hurt that person. It feels different when you get hurt because someone tries to hurt you versus total accident. Intention does matter. There is a big difference between that. So know your intention, know what you're doing it for, and know who you are, and you will become more peaceful with being misunderstood. All the best this week. Check out the other episodes. I think we just hit over 10, and I'm stoked about that. It's been a long while to get here, but we've hit over 10 episodes. I think this is number 12 now. And even though it's been tough and there's been a lot of things happening over the last year and a bit, it's been good. And I'm glad we're here. If you want to check out the other episodes, please check them out. Get into contact on my socials. Check out the website if you need any counseling or coaching support. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.